What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to The Average Investor, where anyone, and I mean anyone, can build wealth, even the average investor. And in today's video, we are going to be breaking down how I invested $100,000 by the age of 23. Now, I wanted to make this video because obviously it's a really cool milestone in my life, but I did not make this video to brag whatsoever. I wanted to break it down into 5 tips that really helped me out, because if you are at the 10,000, 5,000, maybe you don't have any money saved or invested right now, and you're looking to hit that 100,000, I wanted to break it down into some sort of a framework that you guys can use. This is also my personal experience, so obviously this is how I got to the first 100,000 milestone, but every person's experience is going to be different. I know people that got there way faster doing real estate or doing Turo, like renting out cars and doing their Airbnb stuff. All that stuff is super cool, so you gotta find out exactly what works for you. To me, 100,000, sounds really cool. You hit that number, but it's just that. It's just a number. So really, we're just now pulling up the floor as we keep going and keep going. So if anything, we give ourselves a little pat on the back because it did take some hard work, but we cannot stop there. We can't get complacent. We have to just keep going and keep doing the things that got us there in the first place. But before we jump into today's list of tips and tricks breaking down how I got to this place, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, because as you can see here, we have a selection of people that are watching the videos but have not subscribed yet. So go ahead and do that, and do not forget to smack, and I mean smack, that thumbs up button, and let's get into it. Jumping right into it, and by far the most important thing on this list is starting a budget and sticking to it. I know sitting down every day or every couple of days to run through all of the finances of all of your expenses and your income isn't the most fun thing in the world. I actually do kind of find it fun, now that I think about it. But for most people, it's one of those things where you don't want to look at the final number. You put in all of your stuff and you're like, I might have overspent here or there, but it's extremely crucial. You just have to remember, if your long-term goal is I want to hit 100, I want to hit 500, I want to hit $1 million, you're going to have to focus on the day-to-day activities. And it's going to be almost impossible to sit every single day and at the end of every single month going, I know exactly how much is coming in and going out through your head. But if you are using that trusty little budget thing that we're talking about, you will then know exactly how much money you're gonna be saving every single month. You can take that number, put it in something like a compound interest calculator, and then get an approximation over time of how much money is gonna be growing from compound interest. I know that the word budget can be really scary, because as soon as you put on a budget, you're like, okay, how can I not spend anything whatsoever because I'm trying to build wealth? That's just not humanly possible. So what I did when I first started my budget is I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just live my life completely normally, and now I'm just gonna document and track everything on this budget. And then after 2 to 3 months of what you're looking at on your average, then you can start adjusting over time. You'll find you'll start prioritizing things over other things. So if you really enjoy going out and being with your friends, then you can allot more spending to that and maybe suck away some stuff from potentially clothes or whatever it may be. Don't forget, just because you're on a budget, you can still be a human being. So don't try to cut out everything in your life just because you're trying to make your budget happy. You have to still live your life. So just live your life, budget it at first, and then start making adjustments over time. So budgets are really cool, but really it's just a measurement tool, and that alone is not gonna help build wealth over time. And what you're really gonna need to build wealth over time is the second thing on the list, which is an income. This income could be your 9-to-5 job, your side hustle, your side business, whatever it may be. You need money coming in through the door so you can eventually start saving it. For me, just a couple of months ago, my 9-to-5 sales job was my main source of income coming in, but I knew the more streams of income that I had coming in through the door, the more I was gonna save over time if I was being disciplined. Just keep in mind that a normal 9-to-5 job, it builds in a more linear progression, especially if you're staying at one job. If you're jumping from job to job, you might see some increases every single jump, but again, it's more of a linear progression as you get raises throughout time. Now, my social media marketing business, though it started really slow, and I've been running my social media marketing business for multiple years, so this was not just a couple of months ago type of thing. It started very slow, but then it became very exponential. And then soon, shortly after that, I was making more money from my social media marketing job than I was with my 9-to-5 income. That's why if we're looking at the Mint app, which tracks literally all my cash, my investments, my credit cards, everything head to toe, just the past couple of months are we really seeing a big spike in this progression. I want to highlight again that everyone's experience is going to be different. For me personally, my business started taking off, but you might not even have a business. So it might be 9 to 5 and then a side hustle after you come home, or a 9 to 5 and I'm going to start investing in real estate. Whatever it may be, you need to look at all the avenues and always be, have those ideas always rolling through your mind. Okay, so the third thing is paying yourself first. Now this method is only going to work if you really know your budget and you've done this for a couple months now, so you know what your expenses are for that month. But I'm sure most of y'all, just like how I was in the beginning when I was running my budget, I would basically work throughout the entire month, and then what I had at the end of the month was how much I was saving for the entire month. The issue that I kept running into was, okay, I want to save $500 this month. By maybe the second week in the month, I had that $500, but everyone's human. So, you might want to go hang out with friends. You might want to buy another shirt or whatever it is. By the end of the month, you see that you have $300 left. And there's a way to mitigate this. So instead of waiting until the end of the month, the last day of the month, and being like, all right, how much should I save for this month? Every single paycheck that you get in, as soon as the money touches your bank account, you can take what you need for that month and put it away immediately. So for example, let's say you're getting paid $1,000 every 2 weeks. And you have that goal in mind that you want to save $200. When that first paycheck comes in, take $100 out of that paycheck and put it away where you cannot touch it. Then when that second check rolls around, you can take another $100 and put it away so you do not touch it. Or if you can, and everyone's situation is going to be different, if that first $1,000 comes in, you can take the $200 out of that immediately so you know you're saved for the rest of the month. I found personally that this is way better than waiting until the last day of the month to be like, okay, hopefully I saved my number. This way you take out the money right from the source and you put it away. No ifs, ands, or buts. Once you start feeling comfortable with saving and using your budget and you're like, okay, I'm confidently saving X amount a month, then let's move on to the next step. Granted, everyone's situation is going to be different. If I was starting over completely, throwing back to square one, this is what I would do. First, I would focus on paying off that debt, whether it's credit card debt, student loan debt, no matter how long it took to pay off, I would focus on taking care of that so you can get yourself out of the hole and start building your wealth castle. But once you've knocked out the debt, everything besides, your mortgage for your house, I would move on to the second step, which is I want to start building up an emergency fund. This is going to be your safety net if anything bad happens, so you don't have to reach into your savings or put it on a credit card. You could basically have your emergency fund right there, throw it at the fire, extinguish the fire, and keep moving on. And though this part might seem annoying and you're so eager because you want to start investing, because you want to start building up your wealth, but that is a crucial step in the process of the formula. You have that money there if anything bad happens. But once I have successfully knocked steps 1 and 2 out the park, which could take multiple years, I don't care how long it takes, we've got to get those out the way. Then I'm going to be focusing, for me personally, on a Roth IRA and index funds. Now, a Roth IRA is a retirement account, and I have an entire video set up for that, so I'm gonna put it up here. Go check out that video because there's a ton of value in that as well. My mindset is definitely focused on the long term, so I'm not trying to hit that quick IPO, straight to the moon, Dogecoin all day, though that's fun, cool, and if you made a lot of money from that, kudos to you. I am not in that boat. In fact, I've tried that in the past and it did not work at all. I made some money in the beginning. I was like, I know what I'm doing, and then I lost it all and I didn't want to touch it ever again. So pairing that Roth IRA with index funds, which are great for diversification, and in fact, this little book right here, The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by John C. Bogle, is all about index funds. I would definitely read this if you have not already. Now, the stock market was my main investment strategy when I was building up my wealth to where I am now, but don't let that be the only investment strategy. Now I'm looking at other investments. I've always been reinvesting into my business, and that's been growing over time. I've been looking at real estate, maybe starting a churro business, whatever it may be. Just investing that hard-earned cash into assets that are gonna make you more money. Now, the fifth and final tip that I have on this list, and it's not the most fun one, but it's discipline. Now, I definitely have to say, especially as a 23-year-old with money coming in, it's tough to not wanna be like, oh, I wanna rent cool cars, buy cool stuff, put my money into things that are just, liabilities or just gonna float away with the wind. But I have to be disciplined, I had to stay grounded and take that money and put it in more assets that were gonna continuously make me more money. And guess what? Even after hitting that 100K milestone, that was a pat on the back saying, okay, you did well until this point, but now you have to keep using those same tools and the same mindset and the same ideas that got you there to hit the 1 million to 100 million. So I'm still gladly using that budget and I'm still investing in index funds, even though that my investment style might have now opened up to a wider scope. Now I'm looking at real estate or Turo business or whatever it may be. I'm still taking that money that I'm looking at if I'm saving with the budget and investing it into other assets. And though budgeting in index funds doesn't sound as cool as renting Ferraris and Lamborghinis for a day, I promise you after you start seeing that progression of that wealth building over time, then it starts to become really fun because you're like, oh, wait, I actually might know what I'm doing, sort of. But guys, I can confidently say all those tips that I just listed off to you guys have helped me build up to 100K and beyond, so I hope that they'll be able to help you. If I missed a tip in this video and there's something that helps you build wealth, please leave it down in the comments. I would love to see what methods or tips that you guys are using to help build your empire because we can always keep learning. So that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already, and destroy that thumbs up button if you have made it this far. I would greatly appreciate it. And guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Use these tips because they help me, and let's build wealth together. Bye, guys.